Welcome to the June 24th, 2021 Parma City School District Board of Education meeting. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Lucio.
Mrs. Bratz.
Present.
Mrs. Carpus. Mr. Kreitz. Mr. Schweitzer.
Schweitzer, present.
That's it.
I'm reading my name here.
Mr. Vaughn. Present.
Thank you, Mr. Lucio. As we celebrate the recent reports of fewer COVID cases and the increased vaccination rates in the state of Ohio, we are finally excited to welcome everyone back to our meetings. Thank you. Love it. As communicated at the June 10th meeting, starting tonight, we return to our pre-COVID seating arrangement and no mask requirements for fully vaccinated individuals. Even with these changes, the board remains committed, however, to the health, safety, and welfare of our students, their parents, our staff, and our community. This past year has taught each of us numerous lessons. Obviously, one positive for the Parma schools is the awareness that many individuals have viewed our meetings via social media. Therefore, we will continue, even though we're all back together, we will continue to live stream our meetings on Facebook Live. We encourage the Parma City School District community to connect with our meetings, either in person or on social media. So welcome back. Dr. Smilek, can you please confirm that this meeting is currently being live streamed?
Yes, it is.
Can you please monitor the live streaming throughout the meeting? And if there's any problem, please speak up immediately so that the technical difficulty may be addressed.
Yes, we will.
Thank you very much, sir. Right, at this point, we go to retirement recognitions. Dr. Smilek?
Thank you. It's exciting to be able to do this in person. We know that we held some of these, and we're excited to thank some distinguished employees this evening for their service to our schools. And for this matter, we'll turn it over to Mr. Hoy. He has some biographies to read and some folks to celebrate here.
Thank you, Dr. Smilek. Thank you, board. So if it's okay, I'm just going to stand over here, and if the two of you would like to stand over here while I read a few things about you. Once again, thank you. It is my honor to present to you this evening two individuals that have, at this point in time, officially retired. Retired after making a difference. Making a difference in the lives of so many children. Renee O'Malley. Renee O'Malley graduated from Kent State University in 1988 with a Bachelor of Science degree. Renee earned her Master's of Arts in Education from Baldwin Wallace in 1992. She began her teaching career at St. Anthony's School in 1988. Renee began teaching in the Parma City School District in 1989 by teaching 3rd grade at Arlington Elementary School. 5 years later, she made the move over to Pleasant Valley, where she taught 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, and 1st grade classes. She still remembers carrying books over from Pleasant Valley to Arlington with the students. She has served the Parma City School District for 32 continuous years. One of Renee's principals wrote, "Mrs. O'Malley's dedication and joy of teaching are evident in her everyday behavior. She is a child-centered teacher, keeping their best interests in mind at all times. She focuses on creating a variety of strategies and lessons, allowing students to be successful." Thank you. Danette Houghton. Mrs. Houghton graduated from Cleveland State University in 1987 and was employed by the Cleveland City School System at Sunbeam Elementary School. She received her Master of Science in Health Sciences from Cleveland State University in 2009. She started working for the Parma City School District in 1991 and has served the Parma City School District for 29 continuous years as an occupational therapist at First Step Preschool. In Danette's evaluation, it was written, "Danette is to be commended especially for how well she uses all of the teachable moments during her therapy. She enjoys her students and makes sure that they enjoy themselves while they are working hard to make improvements. Danette is creative and uses innovative ideas and materials that motivate the preschoolers to reach their full potential while having fun. Thank you, Danette, Renee, for many years of service you have provided the students, families, and community of Parma City School District. We wish you all the best.
You guys want to say anything? You don't have to. I want to give you that.
It's been a wild ride.
Awesome.
No, it really was. I've enjoyed, my time here. I've made lifelong friends. I've had some students that are still in my lives. I've gone to weddings of my former students. But I'm ready for the next chapter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Enjoy these.
It was my honor to work for the Parma City Schools, and the kids were my world. I miss them, and I miss my friends, and the excellent people who I worked with over all the years. But I'm going to take a new direction too. So.
Well, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
To our retirees, first of all, thank you so much for all of your service, but thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to be able to actually, have some of those words read, about you, but also hear your words and your things. So you're also free to leave right now if you would like. I always say that so it's not like awkward,
Well, thank you. All right.
Thank you
No,
very much.
thank you for coming.
For coming in.
It is so nice to be able to have some of these words said in person in the better part of the past year. I can't even tell you. So thank you for coming.
No, thank you.
It's wonderful. Best wishes to you.
Mr. Hoy, thank you, sir, for your work on that.
Information to the board, Dr. Smiley?
Yes, I have several pieces. First, when we last communicated publicly about our plans for the fall, we said that we would really wait as long as we could because there have been many twists and turns during our COVID era, and we didn't want to put out inaccurate information that would have to change due to a different mandate from a different entity. So, we held up. However, the federal government has been very generous in stepping up and granting us a good amount of ESSER money that we've talked about that before. Mrs. Strapko had a presentation about how we plan to spend that. But part of their requirement was that we post, by the end of today actually, a plan for safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services plan. One of what they asked us to post, or one entity of that posting, is policies for mitigation strategies. And I wanted to be very clear with the board and our public that one of them is a significant change from this year, and that is that we will not mandate masks for adults or students, and that will begin August 1st, which is really the beginning of our academic 2021-22 school year. We will continue to practice hand washing at the elementary school. We're going to have some conversations about sort of a hybrid of social distancing / return to normal. We have returned tables to elementary schools. We had pulled them out because students couldn't socially distance. But there are some physical distancing that we can still practice if we need to in the event that vaccinations are still not available below the age of 12. We have heard varying reports about when those vaccinations might be available. We've heard as early as July. We've also heard as late as September. So in the event that they're not available, we can still maintain some social distancing, but again, it will be a, by and large, return to normal. And we'll work through what that specifically means with our Health and Safety Committee that really helped us throughout this year. We also will make sure that we continue to use Clorox 360. We will, at this point, continue to quarantine individuals who had not received vaccinations if they were within the 3 feet. So there are still some measures in place, but I want to be very clear because we had parents on both sides. We had parents who wanted us to continue to wear masks if there were not vaccinations available. If they are uncomfortable with the arrangement that we are announcing this evening, we are announcing it now with plenty of time to still adjust if they want to move into PVLA, Parma Virtual Learning Academy, they're able to do so. We want families to be comfortable with whatever the arrangement or whatever structure or format they choose in terms of in-person versus actually being online. So that's a significant announcement. We're really excited, just as Mr. Schweitzer was so excited to be able to do these things in person, we're excited too. We want to be able to really return to normal as much as possible, and posting this plan this evening, I think, clarifies that, that really is our intent. The other piece that I'd just like to remind our public, because it's a significant amount of money that we're receiving from the federal government, and despite the fact that we have done presentations before, I wanted to clarify again, our focus really is on student services. There are some school districts that are using some of their funding from ESSER for infrastructure, and we've had some conversation, and we don't, while that's allowable, we really believe that the intent of this is to help kids catch up. It's to help students who may be having some type of social emotional issue. And so when you look at our strategies that we're using to really bridge the gaps that we've sort of exacerbated over the last 18 months, free summer school is one, expanding counselors at the high school level, expanding home liaisons at the middle school level, expanding board-certified behavioral analysts at the elementary level, and then shrinking class sizes as well, using different divisors such as 20 to 1 in kindergarten, which used to be as high as 28 to 1. So we'll continue to invest largely in those types of social emotional resources, because we know that that is, the whole child always has needs, but certainly more so given the fact that we had such a roller coaster over the last 18 months. So wanted to clarify that for our public. This should be posted now. Actually, I believe it was supposed to post at 5 p.m. This has been really a hot button issue in other communities. Folks are looking for this. I've gotten a few emails actually saying, when are you going to post? So we wanted to talk about it at the board meeting first. So any questions about that piece? And then I just had one other note.
No, thank you, sir.
Secondly, we are beginning, and again, this is a positive development that we aimed to do last summer, but weren't able to because of COVID. We're beginning to open Byers Field more and more to our public as much as we can. This evening, we actually have a concert. This gentleman's name is Tom Foley, I believe. I'm going to concede that, I'm sorry, Bill Foley. I still can't get it right, Cindy? Even after last night when
He's on
Bill
right now.
Daly, Frank.
Second chance, you made it.
Yeah, so Bill
He's on
Foley
right now.
will be at Byers Field right now, actually, until 8 p.m. Come hear the best music of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, classic songs that everyone knows and loves. So this is a concert that's open to the public next week, and every Thursday during July, we'll actually have Byers Field movie nights. And we hope that families will come and spread out on the turf and enjoy the fact that we have a phenomenal facility there. We want to open it as much as possible. We do have some partnerships for some other entities that will be provided there with our cities as well. So I think it's a good example of community partnerships that really provide more services and more assets to our community. We should be a pillar of the community, and we're proud to open Byers and hope that we get huge crowds on each of these Thursday nights.
Thank you. I know that the administrations of the cities that we're part of have been pushing it, and not pushing it, but liking it. And I wish I was there, able to go as we, 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's right up my alley. What am I going to tell you?
It's a wide range of specialty.
As we go. I hope people throughout the summer take advantage, because that's a fun thing. Anything else?
No, that's all, sir. Thank you for the time.
All right, any communications this evening from board members or treasurer?
I do not have any.
Okay. Any amendments this morning? This evening? Okay, then we open this meeting to the public to address the board on tonight's agenda items. Nothing on tonight's agenda items, all for the ending. Thank you very much. And the approval of record of proceedings. I move to adopt resolution 2021-06301, approval of the written record of proceedings from the June 10th, 2021 regular and June 16th, 2021 special Board of Education meetings.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt resolution 2021-06-301. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Resolution 2021-06-301 has been approved. Gotta get used to the smart, quickness. We then move to curriculum. Mr. Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Schweitzer. So I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-302, approval to enter into a contract between the Career and Technical Education Job Training Experiential Learning Program of the Parma City School District and FitWorks.
second,
We have a motion and a second for 2021-06-301. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
this
Oh,
is-
Go ahead.
excuse me, 302, not 301. We already did 301.
Oh, boy.
302, so.
All right, resolution 2021-06-302. Thank you. Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-302 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-303, authorizing disposal of auxiliary services equipment.
second,
A motion and a second for 2021-06-303. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-303 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-304, granting authority to the administration to enter into a contract with the family during the 2021-2022 school year.
second,
I think we're all there today.
yeah. A little off our,
2021-06-304 has been motioned and seconded. Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-304 has been approved.
Must be a little nervous with all the people here or something. Goodness gracious.
Change
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-305, granting authority to the administration to enter into a contract with the family during the 2021-2022 school year.
second,
We have motion and second for 2021-06-305. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-305 has been approved. I can't get used to the three.
It's really quick, I know.
yeah,
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-306, authorizing agreement for Power School Cognos upgrade service.
second,
All right, we have a motion and a second for 2021-06-306. Questions or comments?
I was trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah, what is that? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is what we use for our student information system. It's simply going from Cognos version 10 to Cognos version 11.
Alright.
It's a routine upgrade, and we just want to make sure we have the latest version of the
Right,
operating
I was,
system.
yeah, I just caught it.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06-306 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-307, approval for a foreign exchange student from France to attend Parma Senior High School.
second,
Motion and second for 2021-06-307. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
yes,
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-307 has been approved. If it serves me correctly, I think this is our fourth.
I was going to say 3, but
I think
Four?
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
one
I
from
talked to
Italy,
Tiffany, I think she
two
told me it was 4.
We're going for.
Italy,
Yeah. Anyway, 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
This is so cool that this is happening again, that means we're moving beyond everything we've been stuck in the last year, so congratulations.
Can I ask, do you know if they had, how many have we done in the past?
I think this is right around what we would typically do. Yeah, I think this brings us back in line with pre-COVID numbers.
Thank you.
Okay, unless another board member has anything else to discuss, this concludes curriculum for this evening.
Thank you very much. Business, Mrs. Bratz?
Thank you, Mr. Schweitzer. I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06-308, authorizing renewal of property, comprehensive liability, school leaders, errors and omissions, and fleet and automobile liability insurance policy.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second for 2021-06-308. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-308 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06-309, rescinding Resolution 2020-02-990, authorizing award of bid for 3 2020 GMC Savannah extended wheelbase cargo vans.
Second.
And a motion and a second for 2021-06-309. Any explanation on this?
Yeah, they don't have them. We can't find them.
I knew that, but I just wanted everybody to know.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those bizarre,
Microchip, I think.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that a lot.
is that what it is?
Yeah, there might be
Part of
something
the
that has something to do with a
strange year.
microchip that goes and makes our motors run,
Yeah.
that they're just not getting that
Yeah,
chip.
it
so they
seems like
can't
an
build
important part.
Yeah, can't
I
build
get it.
cars.
Just wanted everybody to know why we're doing that. Anything else? Mr. Lucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06-309 has been approved.
Unless another board member has any comments or questions, that will conclude business for this evening.
Thank you very much. Go to Finance with Mr. Vaughn.
Right. I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-310, adoption of 2021 final appropriations.
Second.
Motion and a second for 2021-06-310. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-310 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-311, adoption of the 2021-2022 permanent appropriations.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06-311. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Vaughn. Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06-311 has been approved. We're not in this alone.
All right. I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-312, approval of Medical Mutual of Ohio and Express Scripts Employee Health Insurance Program premium rate.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for
You're it,
2021-06-312.
kiddo. Nobody else
There's only a
online.
couple of us here, kiddo. Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-312 has been approved.
I think Cindy's just happy to answer the term kiddo.
Yeah.
I
she's
move
a kiddo
to
to
adopt
me.
Resolution 2021-06-313, approval of petty cash change funds for fiscal year 2022.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06-313. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06-313 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-314, approve a request to transfer funds, advance funds, return of advance funds.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06-314. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06-314 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06-315, approval of then and now certificates over $3,000.
Second.
And Mr. Nucio, we've done a very good job of not having these things in
Yeah,
a
this
recent past.
is coming from the food service department.
No
They just
explanation
did
for this?
they got the purchase order after
Other than
the
fair one,
invoice.
25 bucks.
So, all right, well, thank you.
Are we discussing, we've had a couple over the year, over the past several months. Not many, I mean, when you first came on,
There was a lot.
Mr. Nucio, I mean, we had a list of these things. So I commend you that there's hardly any anymore. But the last couple have been through food services. Are we addressing that at all?
We are. That's my set of.
Is that on our end or is it on their?
No, it's on our end.
All right.
right, just so we know, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-315 has been approved.
I move to adopt resolution 2021-06-316, acceptance of contributions and donations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 2021-06-316. Questions or comments?
No, but I would like to thank those fine people for donating to the schools and remembering the Parma City School District with their donations. It's very nice and generous of them, and we always appreciate it. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Ditto. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-316 has been approved.
Unless another board member has anything else to discuss, this concludes finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vaughn. Any legislation this evening?
I will talk a little bit about House Bill 82 was passed in the House and moved on to the Senate and was passed yesterday, 31-1, with some changes. And it started out allowing schools or students to opt out of the ACT and SAT college admission tests for a requirement for graduation. Some kids aren't going on to college. Some kids are going to go into the workforce, they're going to go into the military, some career tech path, and so that will in the future be not part of the graduation requirement for students. But it has also moved into replacing the A to F grades on the report card system for grading schools, and it's going to be replaced with a new STAR performance rating system. It'll be 1 to 5 stars. The same content will be tested by school districts, but instead of using the A through F, which was kind of difficult for school districts from time to time, and hopefully the stars will be a little bit better, and those will be used, and not only will the star system be used, but there's going to be an arrow designation of some sort which will tell whether or not a district did better or last from the last time they were evaluated, or stayed even. So you got an up or down or sideways arrows.
You're talking about the report card for the district and not student report card?
Correct. This
Okay.
is the district report card, evaluating the district, not students. So anyway, if this bill passes, it will go back to the, it did pass the Senate as it was amended, and it will go back to the House, and as long as they approve it, it will go to the governor for approval then. And so that's a little bit of a change, and let me see if I had anything else about, I think that's it. I said enough about that legislation.
I think that's it.
There was one piece in there that was actually encouraging, in that there will also be the provision of an opportunity profile, so that we can actually do a better job of formally promoting career tech programs and the arts.
Oh, wow.
So that's a positive, but I will tell you, the letter grades to the stars is akin to taking a really ugly shade of carpet and tweaking it, by 0.1%. It's still really ugly. Yeah, I mean, you're still gonna see, Cleveland.com with the rankings, and of
1
course you're
star's
gonna-
a D, 2 stars a C, 3 stars a...
It's not hard to equate. So there is a group, and we're trying to expand it, and I'm going to participate as well, that is really going to look at different forms of accountability that we, as school districts, would be able to actually present to the state legislature. It's a very rudimentary right now. We're simply gathering as sort of a consortium of school districts, but the A to F versus the star, I mean, it's still essentially going to follow socioeconomic demographics. You can line up your wealthiest communities all the way down to CMSD, and that's where you're going to see the school districts fall, and that's not fair. That's not how school districts should be judged and assessed, and quite frankly, I've said it before, the state report card is the academic equivalent of Route 422. It is a reason for people to move further and further away from urban cores. And until we really address that, again, it's changing the shade of the carpet by just one small tint. It's really still ugly carpet.
Time for us to do by ourselves. Are there any concerns?
Well, about this,
Yeah.
same thing, yeah. People are gonna look real
Before I say
quickly
you
at
can't
that.
talk anymore, we want you to talk.
Okay. Well, unless anybody else has anything that they would like to say regarding this, that will conclude legislation for this evening.
No problem. All right, human resources, Mrs. Bratz.
Thank you again, Mr. Schweitzer. I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06317, approval of the following certificated exhibits: confirmation of certificated appointments, confirmation of certificated replacements, confirmation of stipend amounts, confirmation of supplemental contracts, acceptance of certificated resignations, and confirmation of supplemental appointments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 2021-06-317. Any questions or comments? No, good. Apparently not. Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-317 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06318, approval of revised administrative salary Schedule 9, salary Schedule 10, classified salary Schedule 8.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 2021-06-318. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-318 has been approved. Cindy, I gotta tell you, going right through those Roman numerals like there was no tomorrow.
Hey, I went to Parma City School. I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06319, approval to enter into a field site affiliation agreement with Walden University for school years 2021, 2022 through 2025, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second for 2021-06-319. Questions? Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06-319 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06320, confirmation of certificated administrative appointments replacements.
Second.
Motion, second for 2021-06-320. Questions or comments?
Have introduction?
Well, why don't we get through the vote and then I can
Oh,
provide
yeah.
some.
Okay, Mr. Nucio?
You sure?
Mrs.
The
Bratz.
the introduction might change my vote.
Got mine, engine.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes.
So with that,
2021-06-320 has been approved.
Todd is going to send from the middle school assistant principal at Greenbrier to the middle school principal at Shiloh. And Todd has been with us 15 years, 16 years, 12 as a teacher and now 4 as an administrator. The last 3 at Greenbrier as the assistant principal, and has really distinguished himself as energetic and enthusiastic and extremely positive. Very highly thought of by parents that he's worked with, by students that he's worked with. His colleagues think very highly of him. We had interviews this week, and we had 3 candidates. And after the first 2 candidates interviewed, it was a difficult decision. They both were extremely strong, and we were very impressed by the vision they laid out for Shiloh. And Todd was the third and came in and really just distinguished himself with the breadth of experience he's had, both from a certainly building climate standpoint, which is important, but also from an instructional leadership standpoint. Really has immersed himself in that middle school culture of the whole child and teaming and what TBTs can be and can do. And it was really an easy decision. The easiest process to go through is when one candidate is a clear consensus amongst the whole panel, and the superintendent and assistant superintendent can essentially sit back and not even have to really weigh in. And that's where we got to, meaning his colleagues and the people that he's going to work with, and the teachers on the panel. We're extremely excited for the vision and the energy that he provided. So he has been a class act during his time in Parma. 12 years in the classroom is a true commitment to the profession. He was also a soccer coach. His wife teaches at Parma Park. A deep investment in our schools. And I just want to welcome Todd, and hopefully we can give him a round of applause. You want to say a few words, sir?
Please. Thank you. I want to start off by thanking the Board of Education, Dr. Smilek, for this opportunity. I've spent my entire career in this school district, in the Parma City School District, and really feel a connection with the families in this community. I love working with the students and families, and truly believe that in Parma we have some of the most dedicated and best teachers that are around. My goal has always been to be a building principal in this district, and I've tried to work as hard as I can in order to have that chance. I can't express how excited I am to be the principal at Shiloh Middle School. I could do like a TikTok dance or something, but I'll spare you guys that.
Oh, no, we would enjoy that.
Whoops, I put myself on
Some of us
spot.
would enjoy that.
I'm looking forward to continuing to grow our students by focusing on our district goals and utilizing the playbook, the district playbook of elevating the essentials and focusing on building resilient learners. Thanks again for the opportunity to be the principal at Shiloh Middle School.
Congratulations.
Do you have to do pictures or anything, or?
I think Gary, you're good. I'd also like to say that this continues our I don't want to call it tradition, but it really continues the way of doing business that we've had over the last several years. That we have internal candidates that are ready to step up. So this is sort of the domino effect. Bridget Zywick unfortunately decided she had some other thoughts about her career, but Amy Santel was ready to go from Shiloh to Parma Senior High, and he's ready to go from the assistant at Greenbrier to Shiloh. Folks understand the culture, they understand the terminology, they understand the district goals, and we're not going through dramatic cultural shifts, and that continuity is really important. Consistency is one of our core values, and Todd is a great example of what that can bring. Shiloh's going to be in a great place with Todd Griffin, and we're really excited for it.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
think
Tom.
it also speaks to the training that's offered by Parma City Schools to folks that choose to take the administrative path. They have great opportunities to be supported here and learn and progress in their career. So that's great. Congratulations to you.
Thank
We're
you.
excited for you. I have but one negative thing, I'm sorry to say. I was at a foundation, Parma City Schools Foundation last meeting, and one of the teachers at Greenbrier was not happy that you're leaving. So that's
I call that a positive thing.
yeah, I think that's a positive too. I think it speaks well to how highly you're thought of in this district. So best wishes to you. And unless another board member has
Well,
comments.
Todd, I wish I could get in the buildings more often even than I do, but in the times, and I think you know this, that I've been in Greenbrier, you've always greeted me there, taken me around, asked any questions I've had, and left me with really no questions left by the time I was ready to exit. So I appreciate you stepping forward, and congratulations, and I'm looking forward to you being an outstanding principal.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I didn't mean to short circuit you. Do you want a picture with Todd?
No.
No.
Well, no.
Oh.
Now you look too fat in that dress? I mean, come on. That's
Just asking that you didn't want a picture.
That's up to Todd.
Maybe he would like one with.
We can do them after.
Good.
We can do them after.
Put the part back on you, buddy.
We can do them after.
All right. All right, let's move on here.
All righty, unless there's any other comments or questions by the board. Oh, we're not done yet.
No, you're 3, 2, 1 here.
I got a lot more to do. I'm sorry. Rewind 60 seconds. Okay, I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06321, approval of the following classified exhibit, confirmation of classified appointments replacements.
Motion and a second for 2021-06321. Questions or comments? Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06321 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06322, creation of Coordinator of Extended Day Child Care, EDC, position, and adoption of job description.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06322. Questions or comments?
So I had a few comments. I want to make sure that folks understand this is not an ad. In fact, it's a revision of Rose Gross's position that became available when she retired for the second time. So just looked at, the sort of upgrading and modernizing some of the responsibilities that she has. But it is not an ad, it's simply an amendment.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06322 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06323, rescinding Resolution 2021-06288, creation of farm-to-school nutrition coordinator position and adoption of job description.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06323. Questions or comments?
Yeah, just another comment, and I apologize to the board because this is redundant, but this is simply, it was an error. We had to revise the salary schedule that this would be on. So nothing changed in terms of title, in terms of responsibilities.
Just for the phone schedule.
Yep. Just, we put it forward with the wrong salary schedule.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yep. 2021-06323 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-06324, creation of farm-to-school nutrition coordinator position and adoption of job description.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06324. Questions or comments? It's the same as the last.
Correct one, yeah.
It's the correction. Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes. 2021-06324 has been approved.
I move for the adoption of Resolution 2021-06325, revision of the GC5 Computing Applications Facilitator job description and adoption of revised job description.
Second.
Motion and second for 2021-06325. Questions or comments?
I can provide some comments here as well. Just want to be clear that this, again, is just matching a job description to the responsibilities the individual is actually performing. We moved Deb Vannick's location. She was really up in our part of the building, and now she's actually down by DIS in the print shop, which she also will now supervise, because she had so much involvement in the technology end of things that previously had come under Bill Green's supervision. As we've consolidated and brought Carl Schneider aboard, Carl will have a lot in the HR realm as well. And so this is a natural, seamless transition to having Deb really work with our technology department more directly in terms of supervisory responsibilities. And as she has started to do that, is looking at job descriptions saying, this person hasn't really been doing this for some time, so let's update this. And that's all it is an update.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Nucio?
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
And Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes, 2021-06325 has been approved.
Now, if any board members have any comments or questions, this would be the time to ask them or to state them. And if not, this will conclude human resources for this
Thank you
evening.
very much, Mrs. Pratt. Any policies this evening?
There are no items for discussion, but I'm sure our next one will have some first readings and then meeting after that, some second readings.
All right, thank you
Nothing
very
for
much.
today, though.
Any further information requested by board members this evening? Seeing none. Any questions to be read into the record? I have a few. Actually, I have 1, 2, 4, correct? And in looking through these, there are 3, I will read all verbatim, as is required, but there are 3 that have really the exact same focus in mind. So I will read those 3 first and see if we have a response. If not, we can get a response within the time frame allowed, and then I will read the 4. All right? Number 1, from Michelle Demeco, 7279 Summerview Drive, 7 Hills. Why do kids have to wear masks at Summer Academy? There's only 31 active cases in Cuyahoga County today. If no masks mandated for next year, then why over the summer? That's one. Two. This is also from Michelle Temecco. 7279 Summit View Drive. Since no masks will be mandated in the fall, how do you plan on knowing who is vaccinated and who is not? This is according to your rollout plan and quarantine kids that are exposed. Kind of the same, but also a little bit different of a question. Number 3. This is from Susan Rocco, 2718 Lucerne, Parma, Ohio, 44134. Why do our children have to wear masks in summer school? Okay, those 3. Now, the next one has a kind of a different question. Do you want to, does anybody have a response to those 3 first?
Sure.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
summer school's been widely discussed really throughout the region. We've got 2 different mandates or guidance that's been provided, first from Governor DeWine, second from the CDC. The Governor DeWine emailed us actually May 14th and said, with limited numbers of students vaccinated, it is important that we continue these safety measures, including masking, through the end of the school year. And then the CDC also outlined that in their current operational strategy for K through 12 schools, and indicated that we should continue to do the prevention strategies, including masking, for the remainder of the 2020-21 academic school year. Summer school actually is considered part of our academic school year. For instance, if somebody graduates in summer school, that's considered this year's graduation tallies. We want to follow that guidance, and the other piece that's important is, while there are some parents obviously here this evening that don't like that, there were many parents that opted into summer school under those conditions, and there is not an alternative. We don't have PBLA summer school. So we're able to, for next year, which is, contrasting with this, we're able to say, listen, we're not going to have masks. Make your decision now if you need to change your mind about where you're going to be. We can't do that with summer school. And so we feel, first of all, that the guidance continues to indicate that we should. But secondly, the fact that these are the conditions we advertised and we should be consistent. My feeling would be, while we do have, again, some parents here that are not liking that, if we reversed, I think we'd have just as many, if not more, who'd be upset saying, wait a minute, you said masks, my kids aren't vaccinated, haven't done that yet, or I'm not going to do that. This was the condition you said, you can't change midstream. And that was something that we've kind of wrestled with throughout the year. So it's not, there isn't an answer that's going to please everyone, so we're kind of going with that consistent message that we first operated under. The second part of that was about the quarantining, and the honest answer is going to be the same way we closed the school year. We're going to ask people, and we're going to assume that they're going to tell us the truth as to whether they were vaccinated or not. If they tell us they were vaccinated, then you're vaccinated. We're not going to collect vaccination cards. There is no vaccination visa in the Parma City School District. It's an honor system, and we had success with that throughout this school year, and it led to some difficult conversations, certainly, in terms of quarantining. I would not have wanted to be the one making a lot of those phone calls, but again, we trust people to be honest, and we hope they will be. And quite frankly, by and large, we think they were throughout the year. So I think there were 2 different concerns, and I think I addressed both.
Correct. I mean, there were 3 that were very similar, and then one was split off into 2 things. And you have. Thank you. The 4th we have is from Susan Rocco, 2718 Lucerne, Parma, Ohio, 44134. Interested in knowing about transportation for summer school. Can we get an update on how summer school transportation is working?
Yeah, this was admittedly a little bit of a breakdown in communication. We originally said transportation for all. Then we discovered that there's actually board policy that says that transportation is limited to the 2-mile mark, and so that's actually when we rolled out transportation. We followed the board policy, but we know that there were some parents, Ms. Rocco as an example, that assumed that transportation was going to be provided and disappointed when she found out it wasn't now. We have since rectified her personal situation. Our transportation director gave her a call this afternoon, and I believe we're in a good place. And we'll do the same for other families who call and need an arrangement. We understand that, you know, the first advertisement said this was going to be the condition, and similar to the way I'm talking about how masks are still the condition, if there's folks who need that allowance, then we will work with them. I want to thank our new transportation director, Ms. Malika, who really has hit the ground running and was able to make that adjustment quickly, and we will do the same for families who need some type of consideration.
Thank you very much. I mean, I know that, you know, summer school this year is of importance because of some of the students that during this past COVID year did not really cope maybe as well as they could have or should have, or whatever happens to be. It just happened to be kind of a crazy year. So, kind of. As they are going to summer school for credit recovery and getting some credits and so on and so forth, you know, I don't want to violate board policy in any way or, you know, but anything we can do to help those kids obviously get the credits that they need, that, you know, they've been able to, haven't been able to get on their own because of the situations over the past 13, 14, 15 months, you know, whatever. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, it'll be on a case-by-case basis, and Dr. Schneider and Ms. Malika are working through that. We agree with your sentiments, sir.
Yeah, those are tough ones. I mean, I get it. It's been a tough year. Any other things to be read into the record this evening? That's it. Thank you. Page. Then I move to adopt resolution 2020-106-327 to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Motion. That's always quick. Have a motion and a second.
He wants to go to the concert.
2020-106-327, questions or comments?
No.
Yes.
May I speak? It's my first school board meeting. My name is Edward Acasella. I've been a Parma resident off and on since 1941. My kids are coming back to elementary, my grandchildren are coming back to elementary school here in 2021. Now, I know what it takes to run a $225 million organization, and I understand what happens here and what goes on. I know I'm not allowed any questions because I didn't submit them before 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I will do this for the next meeting. My questions regard critical race theory, the state board's resolution number 20, with about 3 pages of critical race comments, instructions, and it looks like demands on various school boards to come to the terms of the state's requirements. If you can answer that now, I'd appreciate it. I know it's out of policy. I will write this down in a formal format for next meeting.
I'm going to leave this in 2 formats. Due to board policy, we can't right now. However, if you want to hang around for a couple of minutes after, perhaps we can set up an appointment for you to talk personally to somebody. And if that doesn't satisfy you, then you can put it to the next board meeting and we'll go from there.
We've actually answered this gentleman at least a dozen times, and so I think he may want it read into the record.
Okay.
So do it next
That's
meeting
fine.
then.
I didn't hear that.
We've answered you, sir. We've answered you repeatedly, and so I'm not, obviously that hasn't been something that's been satisfaction for you.
I'm hearing impaired.
I thought it did.
I didn't hear that.
We'll answer it at the next board meeting, sir.
Yeah.
At the next meeting or after?
When you submit
you
your
submit it,
questions,
we'll
the
answer it
next
that evening.
meeting, we'll answer it.
Are they saying I should stay?
Yeah, no, he said they'll answer it at the next meeting.
Okay.
That's why you did it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here.
I just have a question. Is it possible for summer school for it to be elective to wear a mask?
Yeah.
We're going to continue to follow the mask policy that we talked about this evening.
I have one more thing. Since you're doing the whole mask policy, for those that are deaf, children that are deaf, will the staff wear clear masks?
we'll make every arrangement we can with that individual child and teacher. So that would be a good question for Ms. Coakley or Mr. Keaton.
Yeah, I think this evening, you know, my Dr. Smilak said that as we continue this, 2020-21 school year, which doesn't technically end until August 1st, that we're still following the same guidelines we have followed before. And if you have any questions with that, I understand the questions. Please direct those to the district, and we'll try to answer those as best we possibly can. But as of right now, we are following the guidelines that were set forth for the remainder of the 2021 and 2020-2021 school year, which actually goes for another month, according to the state. So we just have to go with that. So thank you. Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Schweitzer.
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mrs. Bratz.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.